right?
Yes, sir.
This call is now being recorded.
So grammar rules because of speech. I'll go quickly today because this topic already done.
Okay, sir.
So first is simile. In this figure of speech, we compare two things with the words like or as. You can see the examples. The army came like a storm. These are the seasons of emotion, and like the winds, they rise and fall. So you can see the word like. So this is simile. Metaphor. Metaphor is implied simile. Here the comparison is made without the use of words like so, etc. It is implied or indirect. Indirect simile. He is the Hitler of our school. Mighty hearts are held in slender chains. So, directly calling someone Hitler of our school, we are directly comparing him with Hitler, but we are using is. And hearts cannot be tied with chains, means the people are in the control of others. So, here the words is, are, these are the words which are used. That is metaphor. Personification is left. Do you remember I had told you personification? Remember? Do you remember or not? Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello.
In personification, non living objects are given human qualities, feelings, emotions. It is called
Yes, sir.
personification because the word person is there, you can say. So the quality of a person is given to the object. Life was cruel to him. Now, life cannot be cruel. A person can be cruel. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Now, earth is given human quality of showing something that is called personification. See this. It is a figure of speech that gives qualities of a person to an animal, object, or an idea. We give human quality to animal, object, or idea. The wind yelled all night long. So the wind cannot yell. Can the wind shout? No. Only a living thing can yell. Means human beings, all the living things can shout. This is personification. Actually, the wind was blowing at great speed. So we say the wind yelled. But yelling is the quality of a human being that we have given to wind. That is called personification. Understood? Understood or not?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes, sir.
Apostrophe. What is apostrophe? The inanimate objects or the non-living objects are directly addressed by the poet. Lifeless objects are spoken to as if they were living. So the non-living objects or the people who are dead, we are talking with that people or we are talking with the objects. That is called apostrophe. O death, have you no pity? Although thy breath be rude,
So we cannot talk to death, we cannot talk to our breath. So this is apostrophe. Talking with inanimate objects, non-living things, we are talking with them. That is apostrophe. So the poet talks to them, but that is actually apostrophe. What is hyperbole? Hyperbole is an exaggeration, means it is an overstatement to emphasize a point. More than what is needed is spoken, that is hyperbole. She filled the ocean with the tears. Now, can you fill the ocean with your tears? Is it possible to fill the ocean with the tears that is written over here? She filled the ocean with her tears. So, is it practically possible? Are you all sleeping or what? So, we will end the lecture, no problem. Bye, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then keep sleeping. Bye.
No, sir.
You all are sleeping, so why should I disturb you all?
I can't say, sir.
All of you.
No, no, sir. No.
21 students, all 21.
Sir,
Yes, you can let it.
Let me. I'll explain. Those who already told you, those who pay attention, it will be easy for them in 10th.
okay, sir.
Rest are playing with their futures. So, hyperbole is an overstatement. More than what is needed is spoken. It is exaggeration. She filled the ocean with the tears. So, it is not possible to fill the ocean with the tears, but that is exaggeration. The nymph to the destruction of mankind. This is also exaggeration, overstatement. That one nymph, one small living being cannot destroy the whole mankind. Then the next is euphemism. Here, the harsh facts are referred in a mild way. It is mainly used in the context of death. So, when something bad is spoken in a good manner, in a good way, that is called a euphemism. When the harsh facts, when the bitter truth is spoken in a mild way, in a good way, in a way that the person does not feel bad, that is called euphemism. He passed away too early. So passed away means died, but instead of saying died, we say passed away. So that is mild. It is not very harsh. They passed away in one high funeral gleam. Means so many people died just at once. So instead of saying that, we say this. They passed away in one high funeral gleam. Instead of saying they all died at once. So referring to the harsh facts in a mild way. Next is repetition. So the words are repeated in the same sentence for greater poetic effect that you already know. Rain, rain, go away, go away. So here you see the words are repeated face to face. Right? You all remember this? Do you remember or not? Hello? Sleeping?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Remember.
I am talking to the walls. You all are so
Sir, remember.
busy. Not just about you, Arsh, not about you or the one who is listening. The others, it is like hopeless because it is the base for 10th. Why don't you all understand? When will you all be serious? I'm talking to all the 20, 21 who are present. This is for 10th. Alliteration means what? When the consonant sounds are repeated in the same sentence for musical effect. Remember alliteration, the consonant words, the alphabets are repeated in the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In song, they
See,
repeat one
yes, she, not songs, that is repetition. That you are talking about repetition, the words are repeated. Alliteration में सिर्फ alphabets repeat होते हैं starting में.
yes,
She sells seashells on the seashore. See here, S is repeated everywhere in the beginning of the words. Shape without forms, shade without color. So here also S is repeated. W is repeated. That is alliteration. Then interrogation and exclamation I am not teaching because that are both easy. When you see a question mark, that is interrogation. When will it rain? I do not know. Oh death, what do you want of me? So when question mark is there, it is interrogation. Exclamatory mark is there, it is exclamation. Wow, what a beauty. See exclamation mark, the honking horns and zooming motorbikes. So again exclamation mark. These both are very easy. Next is tautology. Now what is tautology? Tautology is the figure of speech where there is unnecessary repetition of the words which mean the same. The words which have the same meaning, they are synonyms. Still they are used in the same line to give a greater poetic effect. It is not necessary. It is actually faulty. You should not use the same meaning words in the same line. See, it was a dull and gloomy night. So in this sentence, the meaning of dull and gloomy is almost the same. Still they are used. They are synonyms actually. Marks of weakness, marks of woe. So woe means sorrow, sadness. Weakness is also same, sorrow and sadness. So again, weakness and woe are synonyms. Still they are used in the same line. So this figure of speech is called tautology. Remember. Next is antithesis. In antithesis, the figure of speech which is used, in this figure of speech, opposite words are used. Contrasting statements are used for greater poetic effect. Opposite words are there and two different ideas are there in the same sentence. Opposite. Life is full of hope and despair. So hope and despair are opposite things. Despair means what? Hopelessness. And here it is hopeful. So life is also hopeful and also hopeless sometimes. So opposite things in the same sentence, opposite ideas, that is antithesis. See, upward and downward motion thy rest. So upward and downward again to opposite ideas in the same sentence, right? That is antithesis. Remember or not? What are you all up to? What are you all doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The next is onomatopoeia. In onomatopoeia, the sound of the words suggest or echo the meaning of the word. The sound of the word is used in this figure of speech. That is onomatopoeia. The original sounds of the words are used. The car whizzed past us. Whizzed past. So whizzed is the sound of the car. When the car will move at great speed, it will make whiz sound. That is the original sound. They hear the tolling bell. So tolling is the sound of the bell. So these are original words, the original sounds of the words of the car and the bell. Climax and anticlimax. As I told you, climax is increasing order of the importance, increasing order of words in increasing order of importance. Anticlimax means decreasing order, means descending order of the words. First, here you in climax you will see increasing order of importance, means the words, the lines which are given are in increasing order. See, I think we have reached a point of great decision, not just for our nation, not only for humanity, but also for life upon the earth. So, what is the increasing order? First is nation, then it is humanity, then it is the life upon the earth. See, increasing order. First comes our nation, then the whole humanity, and then the whole earth. So, isn't it increasing order? Increasing order of importance. That is climax. In the second example, also you see, let a man his obligations to himself, his family, his country, and his God. So, again, increasing order of importance, right? First important is himself, then his family, his country, and then the God. So increasing order of importance. Do you all understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anticlimax is decreasing order of importance. It is in descending order. He has seen the ravages of war. He has known natural catastrophes. He has been to singles bars. So again, decreasing order. The first is seen the ravages of war. The second is known natural catastrophes. And the third is been to singles bar. So this is decreasing order of importance. Pun. Pun is a figure of speech in which more than one sense, more than one meaning of the same word is given. More than one meaning of the same word can be known. That is called pun. It is a double meaning word. That is figure of speech which has two meanings. Double meaning. See, he is a model millionaire. So he is a model millionaire means what? Model means what? Model means two things. He is a standard person. Model means posing to be painted. Means the person who gives different poses for photographs. That is also a model. And model here means standard, which is an example, best example for all. So this word has two meaning in this sentence. That is called pun.
Yes, sir.
Now you are a man of weight. So weight means two things. Weight means your weight in kilograms, and second thing, man of weight means now you are very much important. What you speak is really important. What is this movie? Stop chatting. The next is internal rhyme. Here you will see the rhyming words. In the same line, the rhyming words will be there. That is called internal rhyme. The cattle fought a battle. So cattle and battle, rhyming words. He lays his staircase as he goes. So lays, staircase, goes, rhyming words are there. Under his 8 thoughtful toes. So goes, toes, rhyming words. Next is paradox. In this figure of speech, the statement appears absurd, but it contains truth. Absurd means illogical. The statement is has no logic at all when you read it first, but actually it has truth in it. Actually, it is valid. The swiftest traveler is he that goes afoot. So, swiftest means fastest traveler is the person who walks on foot. How is it possible? Because the vehicles like cars, bikes are very much faster than walking. But here it is written the swiftest traveler is the one who goes on foot, who goes walking. He is the fastest traveler. War is peace and freedom is slavery. See, this also has no sense. How can war bring peace in the country? And how can freedom be slavery? This has no sense. It is actually absurd. It is illogical. But for bringing peace in our country, we have to face the war. We have to fight with other countries so that they don't trouble us. So actually, war is peace and freedom is slavery. If we are free, means we are under the rule of someone. So actually, this sentence has the meaning. But when you read it at first, it is absurd, it is illogical. That is called paradox.
Yes, sir.
What?
Okay, sir.
Irony is a figure of speech. The real meaning of the sentence is exactly opposite of what is being given to us. So irony means like a taunting, kataksh, that is irony. When someone says something but exactly opposite of what he means, that is said, that is irony. I love everywhere. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
See the examples given over here. I love thee
Hello,
true.
sir.
Water, water everywhere. Not a drop to drink. So it is irony, means everywhere there is water, but we cannot drink a single drop from it. That is irony. Next is litotes. In litotes, a positive idea is conveyed by making the opposite negative. Means negative words are used in this figure of speech for conveying something positive. Negative words like no, not, never, all these words are used. That is called litotes. Mr. Shah is no fool. As friend remembered not. See, here also no is there, here also not is there. So actually this sentence has positive meaning. Mr. Shah is no fool means he's an honest or he's a wise man, you can say. So negative word is used for conveying positive idea, that is litotes.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay,
Moinuddin,
sir.
are you there? Moinuddin, are you there? Moinuddin. So Moinuddin is not there, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, Moinuddin is there.
Yes, sir.
He
बोलो.
is not. He is not giving answer.
So next is anastrophe. In this normal order of words is reversed to suit the purpose of the poet. Means actually the words are not written in the correct order. The words are in reversed order. That is anastrophe. Bites he doesn't the dog. Actually the sentence should be he the dog doesn't bite or he doesn't bite the dog. But this is not in proper order. Bites he doesn't the dog. We the birds betray. So this is also not in proper order. We betray the birds. The normal order of the words is reversed so that the poet can rhyme some words with the other words. That is called anastrophe. Next is transferred epithet. Epithet means adjective. Transferred means it is the adjective is taken from one place and it is kept at other place. That is called transferred epithet. See, adjective is shifted from the actual place to another place in the same sentence. The summer clouds are tired. Now, how can the clouds be tired? This tired does not belong to clouds. This is wrongly placed over here. That is transferred epithet. With all their mournful pride. This word mournful means sad, sorrowful. This word does not belong to pride. It is wrongly placed over here. Mournful is an adjective. The sadness, the sorrowful behavior, or the sorrowful thing that happens is this adjective belongs to the man, not to the word pride. Oxymoron. In these two opposite qualities describe the same thing at one and the same time. It is oxymoron. In this figure of speech, two opposite qualities of the same person are described in one sentence. You have two things, and that two things are exactly opposite. That qualities are called oxymoron. Means the same person or the same thing which has two different qualities which are totally opposite. That is called oxymoron. See, the loving mother punished her child for lying. So the mother is loving mother, but still she punished the child. So these are two opposite qualities of the same person. That is oxymoron. And made a sweet moan. So moan means to cry because of sadness. That is moaning. Then how can it be sweet? So these are two opposite things in the same sentence. That is oxymoron. Understood? Next is epigram. In epigram, it is a brief pointed saying which is paradoxical yet true. In epigram, you will see the quotes, thoughts, one liners which are very much effective. It will affect you. It will make you think about it. That is epigram. The quotes, thoughts are included in it. Changed every moment, even the same. It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. See, very good thought we have. Instead of cursing the darkness, instead of saying that this is wrong and that is wrong, why not bring a solution instead of complaining? So don't curse the darkness. Whatever wrong is happening, let it happen. You just try to find a solution to it. That is the meaning of this quote. Changed every moment, even the same. It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. This kind of thoughts, quotes, one-liners are called epigram. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Next is metonymy. It means change of name. Here, a name of the word is used instead of another. So instead of one name, the other name is used which is related to it. That is called metonymy. एक वर्ड के बदले दूसरा वर्ड किया है यूज किया है जो उससे रिलेटेड है. दैट इज मेटोनॉमी. इंडिया इज प्रोग्रेसिंग इन द आईटी सेक्टर. The very houses seem asleep. So here what is the meaning? India is progressing in the IT sector, but not actually India. India is not progressing. Actually, Indian industries are progressing. So instead of saying that industries, we have used the word India. That means the industries in India. The very houses seem asleep. So how can houses seem asleep? Actually, the people in the house, they are sleeping. So instead of saying that people, we have used houses seem asleep because houses are quiet. If everyone is sleeping, then the house will be quiet, obviously. So instead of using that people, we have used the houses. Houses are seeming asleep. Synecdoche is a part for whole or whole for part. If you remember, I had taught you. His face was tired. All hands were on the deck. See, his face was tired, but actually the whole body is tired. You cannot just say the face was tired. Actually, the whole person is tired. So instead of saying that he was tired, we have used his face was tired. Face means the whole person. That is a part for whole. Instead of saying the whole person, we have used the word face. All hands were on the deck. The deck means the bottom part of the ship, the floor of the ship. So all the hands were on the deck means not only the hands, means all the people who were there on the ship, their hands were on the floor of the ship. So instead of saying the people, we have used the word
Yes.
hands. So these are the figures of speech of the poem Wind that I will ask in the test also. You have to write the answers. See, the first line is wind comes softly. Which figure of speech is this? It is personification. But why is it personification? Because the poet is addressing wind as if it is human and telling it to come softly. Now, how can you tell wind to come softly? We are giving human quality to the wind that please come softly. तो वो थोड़ी softly आएगी. That is personification. We are giving the quality of a person to wind. Understood? Apostrophe. This is also the example of apostrophe. Why? Because the poet is directly addressing the wind, which is an inanimate thing. Inanimate means non-living thing. So directly, can we talk to wind? Is it possible to talk to wind? No, it is not possible. Still, the poet is telling wind. He is talking with wind. Please come softly. But wind will not listen to him. Still, he is talking. That is called apostrophe. Understood this first line? Why is it personification and apostrophe?